So I want to talk to you about the market update for the numbers of March, really just ending up the first quarter. And I know we're just pushing into May, but I've got some numbers that really tell a story, the pre-COVID story, if you will, and how things have changed over the last year and why it's really actually not all that different. You see, what we've experienced in the last year is that despite the effects of COVID and any other interruption in your life, people have still wanted to move, and they've gone ahead and they've made those moves in record-smashing numbers. And what's interesting is the pandemic was never getting away. When people have to move, they will overcome that. The same way, if there's a marriage or a divorce or a birth or a death or some other life circumstance change, it usually overcomes whatever else is going on in the world. And that was the case of this last year. So as we retrace the numbers in this year in March and we compare it back to last year, what we find is some pretty remarkable numbers. The number of sales are up, not quite 10%, but high 400s compared to low 500s. So a healthy number in the increase. And looking at March 2020 numbers, that was before we had lockdowns and things. So this year, boom, catapult forward, it's great. And the median sales price, well, it's gone from $250 in the Daytona Beach area. I saw numbers over 300 this month, 310. Now, the month before we saw 275, so maybe there's some anomaly in there, but it's a lot more. Now, what's interesting is the interest rates are much lower right now. And I think we're all seeing that. I noticed below 3% again this week, and I saw the Fed say that they're not going to move rates up for the rest of the year. So what that tells me is that we're not going to have a big decrease in purchasing power for consumers. And with cash buyers coming from all over the country, in areas where the median price is even higher, our prices at 300 are going to feel like a bargain if you're coming from a market where the prices are 400 for a similar house. They're not going to mind paying 310 instead of 300. And it's playing out in the market right now. The good news is if you feel that you've missed the market, when rates were 4% last year and prices were 250, well, I did that math too. And if you look at this year where the price, let's just use the 275 for a minute and use the 3% interest rate, it's about $35 cheaper per month to own the same house. So yes, I am telling you that you could actually buy a house this year for 25 grand more and pay less over the life of the loan by about $10,000, $15,000 because the rates are lower. So your purchasing power is absolutely depending on the interest rates. And if rates aren't going up, chances are we're not going to see a decrease in prices because of that. We also know that the inventory this year, 1170 was the number at the end of March. Homes available during the month, it was 23 and change last year. So what's going on is that there's only half the number of homes to choose from, yet the number of sales increased. And for you as a consumer, what that means is there are available homes, and we have a 2-month supply instead of a 4-month supply. So there's enough houses. Now, you may say that the exact house you want isn't available, but most people can modify or make a change somewhere down the road. The fact is, record number of people are buying. So it may not be the perfect house for you, but it absolutely was a good house for somebody else. And we may need to manage some of our expectations as we move forward. I will continue to say that people have bought in December, January, and February, just the last few months, who maybe felt like they paid a little bit too much or maybe even a lot too much. Right now, they're feeling like they had a bargain. It was a prediction, and it's coming true. And my suspicion is the closings in March and April, they're going to feel like bargains when you get to June and July as well. If you're hesitant in this market, I get it. If you're worried about putting your property on the market, I get that too. You're thinking, where am I going to go next? Well, this just in. Whenever you have gone on the market over the last 10, 15, 20 years, you put your house on the market, you wait for it to go under a contract, and then you go pick one in about a week's time. Because the closing dates are 30 or 45 days down the road, you don't have time to look around for 3 months. So this is not new. It just feels different because the inventory is less than it was in those years. It's the same process. It's the same hurry up and buy a house. It actually makes your decision a little bit easier. Instead of being blinded with 25 or 30 options, you got 2 or 3. You're actually picking a little faster. And most buyers in this market are pretty quick to write an offer because they know that they don't have 20 options. They got 2 or 3. These things are going to continue to drive the market. It's not, in my opinion, not going to change this year. We are getting a lot more houses coming in the market, but the consumers are grabbing them, and that's what the numbers show. More home sales this month than last month, More home sales year over year pre-COVID than last year, both in super hot markets. And even last year we were in low inventory. It's just lower now. And what is my forecast? I think we're gonna be really busy this summer. I think a lot of houses are going to sell for record prices. And the price that feels like too much today, well, it might just be a bargain by the end of the summer. Oh, and this just in, if you're waiting for the foreclosures to finally hit, because all the forbearances are going to end. Yeah, yawn. I don't think it's going to happen, guys. And here's why. Even if all the forbearance is stopped on, let's say, June 30th, they're not foreclosing the next day. They may have 3, 6, or more 9 months to continue to not pay or negotiate with the bank or do a workout. And the bank really doesn't want to take those back. But if they do, the same people that bought them before, the hedge funds and the bankers, they're just going to buy them again. The difference is 10, 15 years ago in the financial crisis, all these homes were underwater. Picture this. You're in forbearance. You haven't paid for your house in a year and a half, and the market's gone up 20%. You got a lot of equity. My suspicion is anybody in a forbearance right now could sell their house the minute it ends and make a profit, pay back the bank, and move on down the road. I don't think the foreclosures are coming. So you can disagree with me, and that's okay, and I'd love that comment below. And I'm not going to fight you on it, but based on what I'm saying, do you really think the foreclosures are coming? I think the market we're in is super hot and super fun, and I hope you guys are enjoying us. Give us a call if there's anything we can do to help as far as navigating the market. You're going to buy or sell based on your own decision, but right now, the important thing is to get the right information. So at the very least, I just hope you subscribe and keep watching these videos. This is Ron Wysocarski over at Wise Home Team Realty with a market update.